Okay, this is making a profile for, well, Photoshop 5.5 all the way up to CS. With CS2 they changed things around a little bit, the way things look, so that I'm actually doing this tutorial with Photoshop 7. Anyway, the first thing you need to do is you need to set up your color settings. So we're going to go ahead and edit color settings, and in the settings drop down thing we're going to select North American Prepress. That goes in and sets up our RGB, the color management policies, ask when opening, all that sort of stuff. The default that most people use. Go ahead and hit OK. Now we're going to open up one of the profile targets so we can go ahead and print it. There are two of them. We'll print them both essentially the exact same way. The file, open. We've got the file itself. Now it pops up and says, hey, this doesn't have a profile. What do you want me to do with it? Well, the entire concept of profiling is that we want to see how a printer behaves if we give it colors and tell it not to do anything with it, just print them exactly the way they are. So in this case, we're going to leave as is. With a normal image like a photo, you'd probably assign a working profile or convert it to the working color space if there was a mismatch, but in this case we're going to leave as is. So hit OK. Here you got all the little colors. Now let's go in here and File, Print with Preview. We're just going to go ahead and print it. So when this pops up, a lot of times this box isn't showing. You want to make sure that it is, and you want to select Same as Source. Now this right here is where creating a profile differs from using a profile. When creating a profile, you want to use Same as Source. It's usually the very, very top one. When you're using a profile, you of course will select the profile that you want. So we're going to select Same as Source, and now we're going to go in and set up the printer the way that we want. So we're going to go into Page Setup, and we're going to go into Printer, select the printer that we want, go into Properties. Now with Mac OS X, things look a little bit different, but all of the same stuff will be pretty much in the same place. You'll select the no color management and the Same as Source, all that sort of stuff. Let's go into Properties. Now, a lot of times when you're using Windows, it comes up looking like this first. This is the novice screen, you could say. We want to actually get into the nitty-gritty, so we're going to go into Advanced. And the first thing we want to do is select ICM, and we want to turn off color management. So, color management off, no color management. Now we need to select the paper type. In this case, I've got matte black ink installed because I'm going to be making a profile for a watercolor paper. I'm going to select Enhanced Matte Paper. It's a really good starting point for a lot of matte and watercolor papers. If I was doing a glossy or luster, I would select like Epson Premium Glossy or Epson Premium Luster. Really just, it actually somewhat doesn't matter. It's just important that you use the same one when you use the profile as you did when you created the profile. Like you could use Ultra Smooth or watercolor paper Radiant White. I like Enhanced Matte, especially on the R2400, because it gives me the option of sheets, rolls, feeding it in the back, feeding it in the front. If you got a thick paper, you can stick it in the back. Anyway, next thing you need to do is select the resolution, the print quality. Whether it's Fine, Photo, Best Photo. With the glossy and luster papers, you'll have Photo RPM, which corresponds to 2880. Most of the time, I just select Best Photo. It's a nice compromise between speed and quality, especially for a photograph that you want the best quality on. So let's select that, and size, of course, you want it letter size. Now high speed, that's kind of the same sort of thing as the resolution up here. It really doesn't matter as far as making the profile. It's just important that you use the same settings when you use it as you do when you make it. So I'm going to leave high speed on. Some people always turn it off. It's really up to you, it doesn't matter. And then edge smoothing, now it's really important actually that this is turned off. And the reason for that is when edge smoothing is turned on, it actually resizes the image as it gets sent from to the printer. Well, that's fine for like web images and things like that that are low resolution, but in the case of this profile target, we need those hard edges. So we got a nice clean edge right here. If that gets blurry, then I won't be able to make a profile out of the target, because the profiling scanner thing, it won't be able to pick up the difference between the two colors because it's blurred. So you want to make sure that edge smoothing is off. It's very, very important. Now, before we move to something else, let's save ourselves some headaches and go in here and save these settings. Nice thing about that is anytime we want to use the profile that we're making, we don't have to remember ICM, off, enhanced map, best photo, all that stuff. We can just save the setting. I'm going to come in here and just watch or color, hit save, and anytime I want to use these things, I just select watercolor. It loads up all the stuff that I just selected. Now before we get out of here, we want to go into maintenance, and we want to do a nozzle check, and we want to do a printhead alignment. You'll want to do the nozzle checks until you get a clean pattern. With some printers like the R2400, you can do an auto nozzle check, but it's important that you get it all clean, because if one or two or even more nozzles are clogged, not only can it cause banding, but it can cause a color shift, and that's going to influence the way that the profile works. So it's very important that you do a nozzle check. It's also extremely important that you do a printhead alignment. Epson actually recommends that you do this, even if you can, every month. There are a lot of things that can cause the printhead to get out of alignment, and if it isn't aligned, areas that are supposed to be a single solid smooth color will have kind of a graininess to them. So it's very important that you do that. So let's go ahead and hit OK. Hit OK again. Now, this particular image, you'll notice it's landscape. So I'm going to select landscape, hit OK. It's ready to print. Everything's good to go. We've got same as source, just like we're supposed to. Let's go ahead and hit print. Okay, now as far as using the profile. Well, first we need to open up an image. So let's go in here, and that's a good image. Okay, got a picture of the Earth during winter. It's actually January, I think it is. Anyway, so let's go ahead and, well, we're going to go into File. Well, of course, at this point, we already would have set the image size and all that sort of stuff. Let's go into File, Print with Preview. And the first thing we want to do is we want to select the print space. Of course, we're showing this thing right here. So let's go down here, select the profile that we have, Lumina watercolor in this case. And now, as far as the rendering intent, most of our profiles work best with perceptual. Some people find that they get better results with relative colorimetric depending on the image. Try them both. If you're having problems with perceptual, try relative colorimetric, but we build the profiles for them to work with perceptual, so usually that's a good starting point. So we've got the profile selected, perceptual, black point compensations on. Let's go back into here and select our printer settings. So go into Printer, Properties, and we just go in here and select Watercolor. We've got ICM, off, enhanced matte, best photo, high speed, everything's set up exactly the way that we want it. Hit OK, hit OK. Once again, this is a landscape, so there we go. It's all ready to print. We just need to hit print. And if you, after you hit print, if you want to just double check, you can come in here and, oh, yep, still enhanced map, best photo, ICM, high speed, okay. Let's hit OK and print out your image.